Good evening, and welcome to Chinwag number 179, I think it is, or is it 180?
I don't know.
It might be 180. I think it's 180. I think, yeah, but I'll edit that later. Hopefully everyone can hear us and see us okay. We're just making sure the mic is good. Do you want to say hi, Beck?
Hi.
Bit more than that would be great, but you know we can do with a hi. Thank you for joining us on Friday. Friday, for those of you that may not have been here before, which is not likely, we have a very niche audience which we love. Friday is the day where myself, Zaheer, and my wife Rebecca, it's very formal, get together and we chat about the week. The chat can go more or less anywhere, although we're always telling ourselves to be cool and to keep it loosely reselling, but it doesn't always happen. But hopefully you can see us and hear us okay. Yeah. So we're going to go in and say a few hellos. We've got neighbours from Hell Norwich who were first in. We've got Pleasant Valley Picker Will. We've got Damien, who's DB Resells. Anomalous Data Point Dave Repairs. Tornado Rob has popped in, and Tornado Eddie as well. Thank you for popping in. Anomalous Data Point. Only joking. Thank you for popping in. Bad Biscuit, aka Lex. Uniquely Me, aka Tracy. Thank you for popping in. Haggis Lover. Thanks for popping in. We've got Stephanie Egerton. Or is it Edgerton? I'm not sure how to pronounce that, so I do apologise. We've got Michelle Lathan, Nick K. Karen has popped in as well. Hey, Karen.
Hi, Karen.
We have got Antique Curios, BCP. Did I see BCP or not? Or am I making that up? I think I might have made that up. No, he's there. He's there. BCP, Bumcrack Picker, the legend. Thank you for popping in. Marsha N, Janet Plant, Paul C, Tori, over the years, Tim, thank you for popping in. Nathan Power, Chernok as well, thank you for popping in, Chernok, and Pete's Retro Collectibles. Thank you everybody that's in the chat, really do appreciate everyone popping in. Reselling Polly has just popped in as well. I was sat in the garden having a Barbie. Well, do you want to tell them what you had for dinner?
I had a steak.
Yeah, but not just a steak. How did you have it cooked?
On the barbecue.
Yeah, you just belittle it so much. Yes, she had a steak on the barbecue. Cooked over what?
Coals.
Lumpwood charcoal.
Coals.
Lumpwood charcoal. Okay? And I made sure it's nicely seasoned.
What are you asking me for? You know I don't know these things, man.
Yeah, but you just said I just had steak. Like I just whacked it in the pan and that was it. You know?
I had steak.
We had what I was getting at is because Sam had said, she was having a Barbie. We had a Barbie earlier. Yeah, that's all we're saying.
We're gonna get straight to the point.
Okay. Yes. As some of you may have seen I can't remember, it was 2 days ago. I can't remember the day. I think it may have either been Wednesday or Thursday. I put up a video about my customer service experience with ITzoo.
Serious question, what is a clown hole?
Well, Karen, I will answer that for you at some other point, but thank you for asking.
But in
all seriousness, yeah.
Okay, so Zaheer released a video. It was a bit of a rant video. I don't watch Zaheer's rant videos because I know what he gets like. So I tend not to watch them. And do you want to continue?
Yeah, basically, in hindsight, my rant was just wrong. And I want to actually apologise to ITzoo for it, if I'm honest. The way I feel is I'll be completely honest with you guys. The European sales manager contacted me, and we were chatting on email, throughout the day, and in the end, basically, even though my point still stands, my point still stands. I think that the facts were there, but
you could have worded it a little bit better. And to be quite honest,
it was disrespectful. It was a lack of respect. I think that's what I'm getting at. And it kind of, that's not right. It's not right.
The customer service still was not great.
Yeah.
Okay, we stand by that.
Yeah.
Although it has been sorted.
Although,
now,
yeah,
so I will
so they've
say
rectified
it has
it.
been sorted.
I just feel that there's better ways
But you-
of, yeah. I went too far.
Yeah.
I went too far. It
You
was
did.
wrong. After speaking to them, and it was actually one of the comments that got me thinking about this. I actually had a comment saying, "What if it had been the customer service person that was emailing me like first day?" And it's possible. It's actually what I found out was they are quite new, and no one goes to work. And I made a big faux pas, obviously, of sharing the my emails, which had the person's full name and everything.
I think you've taken the video down.
I've taken the video down.
I've taken the video down now. So
I have to just admit that the way I handled it was just bad. No one goes to work to kind of have that. Okay, I wasn't getting the best service, but I could have made my point just as coherently and powerfully by just not being like I was. It wasn't. I look back on it and it's a poor reflection of myself. And I've got to say that actually considering the the conversation, and I believe that they are aware of the video as well, and they actually communicate with me in a really decent way. And it made me look at myself. It wasn't. This is not anything. They just so they've not like done me any favors or anything like that.
No, and they didn't ask us to remove the video.
No, they didn't ask us to remove the video or
and
anything.
We haven't been told to remove the video.
No,
it's our choice to.
After
take
speaking
it
to
down.
them, I just felt I went over the top. The facts are still there. The information that I was given was obviously wrong. I have rights as a buyer. All of that stuff still stands. But when people make a point but they go the wrong way about it, it diminishes their point. I feel that's very true. And even though I had a point, I felt that I diminished my own point by the disrespectful manner in which I put that point across. And that's how I honestly feel. So I just feel it was not the right way to deal with things. There's better way to deal with things. Beck works in that kind of a scenario with patients, and obviously it's a different situation with health and everything, but we've all done customer dealing jobs, and we all know that sometimes it can be tough. And I thought better of myself, but I just wanted to put that apology out there. I wanted to say, to be fair, they've dealt with this situation in the end. They've and it was the communication as well with the gentleman afterwards. Like I said, he's like the European sales type guy. He was like the boss of the person I spoke to, and he explained things in a way to me which kind of I felt okay. And like I said, there was no preempt or anything like that. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Yes.
So we'll see. I just wanted to put that out there really and just say. So let's go in and say a few more hellos. I did see a few other people come in. RJ Rashati says, our charity shops open next week. Rasha, I believe they are going to start opening, but it's a local thing. You have to check locally.
Yeah.
Funky UK says, just lit the barbecue myself. Trotters into eBay Traders has popped in as well. Dave Repair says, I not had steak since Weatherspoons died, says Dave. And Andrea's in the chat. I didn't realise. Hey, Andrea.
Hi, Andrea.
Gosh. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was disappointed with you in that video.
Yeah, Shazad, thank you for the £2 super chat and the comment. I was disappointed with myself, and that's why I'm just I can't make any excuses. Literally, there's no excuse. I mean,
the thing is, normally I'm your filter.
Yeah, normally.
And if
But
I had watched or had an idea of the video,
or if you'd just been awake,
it probably
it's
wouldn't have
happened when you
happened.
went to bed.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, it was. I diminished, and the worst thing is I diminished my own point. I didn't get good service, and they've been open enough to acknowledge that themselves. It's not like they're shirking responsibility. But the way I handled it, that's not the way to do it, and I feel I handled it very poorly. It's the reaction, guys. It's about the reaction. My reaction was not a good reaction.
No, it wasn't.
So yeah. But yeah, I just feel okay. I wanted to just put that out there and just
Yeah.
just clear the situation up. And
You keep going up the chat.
yeah. Okay. No,
Go down the chat.
I will go down the chat. I'll go down
Down
the chat. Let's see what.
Okay, I will be bossy tonight if I have to.
Nathan says, RJ, all good. Looking forward to the boot sales next week. Yeah, we'll touch on the boot sales because we've found out that our local boot sale Norcross is going to be opening next weekend as well, or potentially. Uncle Hank says propane is the way to go for grilling. Says, yeah, I disagree with Uncle Hank. I know he loves propane and propane accessories, but do you remember King of the Hill?
Yeah.
Yeah, he used to do that. Shastaroonies. Oh gosh. We like your rants. The rants, Tornado Eddie. I appreciate you saying that, but I feel there's a time and a place.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And you pushed it a little bit far.
I pushed it too far. I think, especially with having the emails as well, it almost felt like, looking back on it, it was too. It almost could have felt directed when it wasn't. It was direct. My rant was obviously directed at the whole company, but it came across almost as if I was directing it at the poor person that was dealing with me. That's just wrong. That's wrong on so many levels. No one goes to work for that. So yeah. I hadn't heard that much quality swearing in quite a while. This is Pleasant Valley. Oh gosh. Sometimes it's good to let it out, says Tim. Yeah, there is time and place. Hey Kirsten, how are you? Thank you for popping in.
Hi.
I understand your point of view. It could be their first date, but all employees are trained before they go into the workplace. Very true, Karen. I get that. And like I said, my point is still valid. I don't think that.
But I think the way you went about expressing it.
Yeah.
Not so much.
Not so. Well, no, it was disrespectful.
Yeah.
It's plain and simple. It was rude. To be honest, dude, I was I was somewhat shocked, but 100% by coming out tonight and saying that you are. Oh, thank you. Saying what you are, I only have respect for you. Thank you, RJ. I appreciate that. Yeah. So I do appreciate that. We want to hold ourselves in a I'm better than that. I've got kids. I've got kids. Like, that's not. What kind of example am I setting? It's bad enough anyway at the best of times.
Yeah.
So I don't need to make it worse. Good for you for learning lessons, says Michelle. Thank you. That was after the video though, says Pete.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily,
because they did actually
have an email from me, didn't
send
they?
a replacement on Thursday rather than doing a repair. So technically,
they'd sent.
No, because we only
made that video came out that was a live stream at 11 at night or something, and we had a replacement laptop the next
by Thursday.
But so
technically.
It's not.
I'm not convinced it was.
Yeah, I'm not convinced
because of the video that we got a replacement.
Yeah.
No.
It could have been due to lockdown stress. You needed a release. Haggis lover, you know what? I'm not making excuses for myself. But thank you for that point. Oliver says, did they change their stance because of the video? Don't apologise for wanting the service you would provide yourself.
Don't believe so.
We wouldn't like to say. I don't think there's no 100% way of putting it. It would either be from the email that I think it would be more likely that it would be the email they received.
Rather than the video.
Which, by the way, all my email communications were respectful and polite, and if anything, if I did want to make a point about it on YouTube, and I suppose this is something that anyone out there that's starting YouTube could learn. YouTube, I always get taken the mick out of, but for saying YouTube, but YouTube, you guys out there that are starting your channels or thinking about starting your YouTube channels, I feel that this is a lesson I suppose you could learn as well. It's cringy and cliched as hell, but Spider-Man's granddad was right, Peter Parker's granddad was right, and we don't have great power.
Oh, baby, I love your way every day.
His granddad, was it? It was his uncle.
It was, ooh, baby, I love your way every day. Thank you for the super chat, Tim. Oh gosh. All right. So yeah. Anyway, as I was saying, what was I saying, honey?
I don't know. About YouTube, that we have to be responsible.
You do have to have a level of responsibility. You do have to have you do have to be a little bit responsible, because just it's a platform. Use it properly.
Stop scrolling up.
Well said, Z. Have a Pepsi on me, damn that rhymes.
Thank you, RJ. Appreciate it. That is very kind of you. Thank you for the £5 super chat.
You've just done it again.
I've done it again. Beck's getting
Why
really mad
are
at
you
me.
scrolling up?
Okay.
Okay, you're driving me crazy
Sorry.
at this point, okay?
Chill. I'm scrolling down now. Hashtag unsub, says Lex. Oh gosh, I want to read some comments. Is it me or is he looking more like Tommy with that cap on?
Yeah, I got you to the point where we had gotten up to, yeah, and then you just started scrolling all the way back up again.
You're going up now?
Yeah, because
Okay, I've messed it up.
You've messed it up.
Okay, alright, let's go down. Let's go down the chat. Let's go down the chat.
There we go, we're all around here.
Okay.
There you go.
Now I can scroll down.
Scroll down now.
Scroll down. Okay, I can
There
scroll
we go.
down.
We've sorted where we were.
Okay. Funky UK says, don't cut yourself up about your rant. You're frustrated at the time. At least you can see and admit you're a bit over the top and big enough to be able to walk it back. I think, Neil, you couldn't have said it better. Yeah, it was a rant. It was out of control. And I see that. So yeah, thank you. This channel is about your journey. You use your channel appropriately, says Dave. So would you say you were being a Karen? I don't know what you mean by that, Chernok. Is it still on them for poor training of employees? Very much so, and they acknowledge that as well. You know, if anything, I do actually have respect for because we had a lot of emails today, to and fro, and you know they could have just been like, okay, this guy's bad-mouthed us or whatever, you know, can't be dealing with him, but they still cared. So you know, you do have to, and some of these thoughts, by the way, guys, come from the comments, because I was reading the comments and a couple of people made those comments that, you know, you should never like you should forgive but not forget. Someone said, like, chalk it up to a one-time bad service thing, and if it happens obviously again, then that's different. And I like people's perspectives.
And the thing is, our first experience of buying with them wasn't terrible, and you know, hence why we went back to them again. Yeah. So we'd just like to put that out there as well. Yeah. So, you know, you've got to show both sides and everything. You do have to. By the way, guys, can I just say a big thank you to the 120 plus people that are watching this. We really, really appreciate every single person that's watching. It means an awful lot. Reselling White Boy says, howdy everyone, here to bring some positive vibes. Thank you. Tornado Rob says, a good therapy is to fill your room with Furbies, then let the love begin, preferably with a hammer. I think Nick has kind of haunted me with that video. I think it was really cruel. Poor little And the thing is, I wanted to kill them.
No stress in the house tonight. Let's Beck do the scrolling, winking face.
Thank you. In it to flip it. We'll bear that in mind.
The thing is, I should be quite chilled out because I've just been laying in the garden all afternoon since I've come home from work. Yeah, so I should be pretty chilled, but I'm not. You're just annoying me today.
I know. And I looked after her. I got her a drink, bought drinks out for her while she was sunning herself, made her a steak on the barbecue.
I know. I didn't have to do anything. Exactly.
Been there just recently, Z. Know what you mean, says Aid. Okay. And Gimbal says you're supposed to mash them after you boil. Oh god.
Indiana Jones update. New film announced, lol.
We didn't watch Indiana Jones, Dave.
We didn't in the end.
Thank you for the £2 of chat. We didn't watch Indiana Jones.
Yeah, we did watch.
We watched Us, which was good, and then the kids went and watched Minority Report. Yeah. Yeah. So that was it. Okay.
So I still have gotten away with not watching Indiana Jones.
Okay. And sorry, but how can charity shops open next week, says Kirsten. This is something else we want to talk about as well.
Yeah. So you found out today. Yeah,
I looked. This is interesting. Obviously, a lot of changes coming with the lockdown, right, guys? So there's been a lot of news of loosening it. You can now have 6 people meeting up and chilling out. And George talked about this as well on his Morning Ready show, which, by the way, has been really great. Really great thing to wake up to. I'm already awake at that point, obviously, but you know what I mean.
I know you are, because I wake you up.
I know. But like, I looked on Facebook and saw that one of my favourite car boots, Norcross car boot, which Beck and I think that's one of our longest going car boots since moving up
It's
here.
one of the ones we've gone to, like,
the most.
Yeah, probably the most, actually.
And we saw that they're looking at opening up on the 5th and 6th of June.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously you start thinking to yourself, because they're like, obviously they're going to have to implement social distancing.
Yes.
How do you think they're going to do that?
In a field.
In a field? I know they're in
With
a
a
field.
bunch of people that they can't really control.
So, you're being sarcastic. Okay, I get it. I was like, well, you were coming up with a solution there by like saying, in a field.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I would like to see how they do it.
We're going to go to see how they do it.
But I don't know. I'm not convinced.
Yeah. I mean, it seems, like, I'm not sure how you can... Part of the thing with a car boot, I mean, we've all been there, is you see something on a stall in the next aisle, you cut through the stalls to get to the next aisle. You don't even walk to the end of the aisle.
Are they going to have some sort of, like, one-way system where you can only go in one direction around the stalls? And that means, like, from being able to go round both sides... If that's the case, are you then still going to have... Well, obviously, you can still have to keep your social distance with the 2 meters apart from people. So if someone else is at the stall ahead and you spot something, you can't just kind of rush over and,
Yeah. And exactly.
Do you get what I mean? On the table, that
how
person
many people
might not
per
even
stall?
be looking at it.
Most stalls are barely...
But that means you're not going to be able to,
how is it going to work? Our desk is probably the size of most people's stalls. At most, they're going to have like 120 centimetre length stool tables, aren't they? Or if they have a couple, at most they're going to have 2 meters. So you're not going to have...
Yeah, Alf's on new food, right? Oh. And he keeps doing some right stinkers. I'm sorry.
We actually had to look to make sure.
It.
Yeah.
But
Beck actually looked to see whether there was a doo-doo on the floor.
No, because he's just come back from a walk, so I would be shocked if he's done that. But
it's just he's there. He's just there. He's just there, just smelling the place up.
He's on new food, so we're gonna have to put up.
We're gonna have to put up with it whilst he adjusts. So it was one of those. It was one of those things where it was just like, how is that going to work? How are 2 or more people going to be at one stall? How are you going to be competitive? Because obviously, if you're one of the first people in, you're going to be well within your rights to get mad if someone encroaches on your 2 meter.
And also, it like, are they going to have the stalls already set up? We used to go to a boot sale down south that was very, very much like that.
They used to set up before,
They all used to set up their stalls even before you could go into the field.
But does that even matter, though? Does that even matter, if it's set up before?
Well, no, because then...
because it's about getting around it.
I know, but I'm just coming at it from a point of view where you get people approaching people unloading their cars. How are you going to control that?
Yeah, you won't get that.
That's also something.
But
that's
also.
Kind of be careful.
But as a seller, I've got to say that's my favourite time. The couple of times we've done car boot sales, and I was one of the people that always used to be like, I don't like the people that are the boot raiders and things. As long as you're in control and you know exactly where everything is and you're not likely to be robbed or anything, I actually love that time. That's the most exciting time of a car boot, because that's when you're making most of your money.
At it from the point of view that where we've done boot sales, we're quite happy for people to come and like take stuff while we're unloading, because we'd rather get it gone.
We want it gone.
We don't tell people to go away because there's 2 of us as well.
We love it.
We don't find it that intimidating.
No.
I'll still be unpacking. I get Zaheer to deal with all the people that are coming and going, what do you want for this? What do you want for that? I let you deal with that while I'm unloading.
Yeah. And it's worked really well.
And it works. I don't get involved in it. If someone comes up and asks me, I just go, Zaheer, and he takes over. So, and it works well for us like that. But it's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, is my opinion on it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. So, 5th or 6th of June, that's like next week. So I'm really surprised.
Yeah. I'm in 2 minds.
Yeah.
Part of me says it's too soon. And then another part of me goes, we can't stay like this forever.
Yeah.
Nothing much has changed for me. I still go into work. The only thing that's nice about it is the roads were empty for like ages, and it was amazing getting to work in like 25 minutes, and now it's going to be starting to push like 30 to 40 again. But hey, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I know things have got to go.
Aaron said if Z keeps scrolling up, we may have a rant video from Beck later. I did scroll up.
It won't be as colourful as his.
Yeah. And the Vinegar Jar Peter's in here. I think I've seen Georgina as well. Hi, Georgina. Junk Girl Patty as well. Thank you for popping in. Thank you to everyone that's joined us. Reseller Kid as well. Thank you for popping in. Yeah, so it's interesting to see what they said. Nathan Powell says they say 12th of July, so a while yet. Reseller Kid says my boot sale's opening soon next week. Unsure if I should attend. Well, that's the thing, Reseller Kid. We're thinking of going, if nothing else, just to see how they're doing it.
Yeah.
Touch wood. Luckily for us, stock is okay at the moment.
Mainly because we've focused on like the RC stuff. So okay, for the general store hasn't been listed on in like forever. I'm not entirely sure we've got much stock. I think you
got some bits, but
I've got a few bits.
I've got some bits, but I'm focusing a lot on the RC stuff
so
at the minute.
We're not like chasing stock in a way,
No.
are we?
No.
Because we're still
Obviously you're working as well, so we've got
so we're pretty
sales are-
relaxed
yeah.
about it. So we don't
feel like we have to rush in.
No.
But we obviously do want to get back into the groove of things. I still want to get back into the bins and the charity shops, but
we've had no information about whether they're opening back up yet.
No, well, I've not looked. They may have done. And then one other thing, actually, talking about charity shops, for example, there's a lot of news out that the charity shops are being inundated with extra stock as well, and that sounds really interesting. But if you think about it, I'm not sure how much of that we're going to see, because my worry would be that. Or not worry, but my thinking would be that if you're a charity shop that's getting inundated with lots and lots and lots of donations, what's going to happen is people that have already got a good relationship with that charity shop, or the companies that have got deals, so the rag men that pick up all the clothes that don't sell, the chances are they're probably going to approach them and say, look, we understand you've been inundated with donations over the past few months. We'll happily take the lot off you to just make it safe, because at the end of the day, the charity shops cannot operate unless they're going to be safe. They're run by volunteers. They're going to have to be safe, and in order for them to be safe, all that stock has to go somewhere. And it wouldn't surprise me if all of this stock that we're hoping to see charity shops packed to the brim. I've got a feeling it might not turn out like that. I've got a feeling what might happen is all of that extra stock will be sold off to the rag men, maybe at a higher price. Maybe they'll say, well, we give you this amount for the rags that we take from you, or the clothes that don't sell. We'll give you 10% more for all your current donations. And we'll take them all in the lot. And there's companies that do that, obviously, for the electricals, companies that do that for the media. So how much of that stock will we see? Because shops only have a certain amount of room to operate, and they're going to have a room now to quarantine donations before they come onto the shelf, and obviously, not to mention, they just can't fill everything up because people are going to have to go in and shop. I don't know, how is it going to work? It's so many unanswered questions, really.
Yeah,
it's kind of a bit like, oh, but we're keen to go out and see. You know, I'm gagging to go out and see, if I'm honest with you. I'm desperate to go out and just see what the situation is, but I don't want to put myself at unnecessary risk.
No.
You know, that's I suppose how we feel, isn't it, about the car boot as well? What do you reckon? Yeah.
Pretty much it.
And Karen says, loads of us around Nathan. Oh, what, from Kent? Yeah, there's loads of Kent people in the chat. Plenty of groups for info on boots, says Haggis Lover. Yeah, there's lots of pretty much every car boot has its own Facebook page or something. Jungle Patty says, I played the whole rant for my hubby to hear. To be honest, we got a giggle out of it, but understood your frustration. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'm glad there was some enjoyment to be had from it, but you know, ultimately, it's not how I want to. It's not how I want to portray myself, because that's not, you know, that's not who I am. You know, Obviously, it is to a point because I did it. But I have regrets. Do you know what I mean? I made a mistake. Do we think boot sale videos will be frowned upon considering the serious situation we are in, says Reselling White Boy? I wouldn't think so. What do you think?
I don't know.
What do you think? No, go on. Do you have reason to think they would be frowned upon?
No.
What do you mean, like by like resellers going and making videos, like recording at the car boot or whatever?
Or do you mean like
Yeah,
doing like haul videos saying that you went to the car boot kind of thing?
Oh,
you mean,
or like
that?
showing that you've been to the car boot and gotten a haul or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's probably quite. I think people are probably quite keen to see them.
Yeah.
I think they tend to be some of the videos that are quite interesting.
Yeah.
Not everyone likes them. Some people don't.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. It depends because although lockdown is starting to ease for some people, the people that are still vulnerable and shielding can't go out still. So
there are people that are still stuck indoors, aren't they?
Yeah, from that point of view, I can see that people may get frustrated by seeing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Just because of where I work, I'm
You're
in
thinking.
this all day, and I have these kind of questions aimed at me. And,
yeah, what about me? And I mean
and,
that's actually quite tough,
it's
isn't it?
Hard to answer. It's really hard to answer.
Because you're basically saying,
I think from that point of view, from my point of view, I think people that are still having to shield and not necessarily able to go out, I could see people getting frustrated with that.
What like seeing it and not? Yeah, I mean, yes, maybe. But I think overall, people. I mean, I'd be quite happy to see them personally. Mm-hmm. Karen says, "Think I'm the only one of the only ones that don't do boot fairs here. What, in Kent? Oh, there's some good ones down there, I'm sure." Okay. Indiana Jones: The Search for Assisted Living. What? I missed something there, Michelle. Okay. Middle of June for non-essential retail, but given that most charity shop volunteers are over 70, I reckon sometime in 2021. I don't know. I think haven't they? Some of them have already announced that they're looking to open, aren't they?
I'm not sure because we haven't gone for a walk along our high street yet. We haven't done that for a while. So and we've got about 4. Is it 4 or 5 charity?
Yeah, we've got about 4 or 5.
And I don't know. I haven't seen that they're looking to open up anytime soon. So I think it's down to each. If they think they can implement social distancing safely within their shop and environment, because it's not just the customers they've got to protect. They've got to protect their staff. And I think. And
the same goes in car boots. Yeah. The organisers have to look after themselves.
Always going to be like.
And a lot of the car boots are run by like farmers, so their main income is their farm. They make a bit of side cash with an unused field with a car boot, but they can't afford to become sick and be off their real work and things like that. Tim over the year says, I drove to another state to go to a flea market last weekend. So, like a car boot. It's like the Twilight Zone, but was good to go. Get used to the new normal of shopping with gloves and masks. I think that's the point, Tim. I think that's a really good point that Tim makes there. Maybe it's good, even if you're apprehensive, maybe it's worth just going to have like a, just to see what it's going to be like. I like to just experience what it's going to be like, because obviously it's going to be different to what we're used to, definitely. Right. I think charities need to recruit 20-year-olds. It still doesn't guarantee it, does it? And what other comments have I seen? Oh, gosh. I think I skipped past some bits there. Oh, God. Where is it? Where have I gone?
I don't know.
A whole bunch has dropped past.
Yes, I know. You're making a very loud point about that. Is that so you don't get told off?
No,
again?
no. No, it's a...
Am I being a bit annoying this evening?
No, not at all, honey. Haggis Lover agrees with me and says, totally agree with Z, but also the better items will be given to the online sellers they use. Yeah, quite likely. Reseller Kid says, I absolutely hate when sellers at boot sales have piles of clothes on the floor. you can get some amazing bargains in those piles though, Reseller Kid. Star City Picker says my local stores are overpacked. They put stuff everywhere. They had 2 months to overprice it also. Oh my gosh. And AJ says, I agree. Corporations have gained so much already. I wouldn't be surprised if they profited even more out of this at the expense of small business. Yeah, I mean, AJ, it was just, I'm just thinking it would be so easy, wouldn't it? Like, even if you're not a corporation or a business, even if you're just someone that has a really good relationship with a charity shop, you're probably going to be at an advantage over someone that doesn't, you know? You're just in that situation. Like, you know, I'd hope that if I go to some of my charity shops, you know, I hope that I'll have an advantage because if I've built some good relationships, but you know, it's been a while as well.
It's been a while.
You know, who knows? Who knows? People that you knew might not be there or whatever. Who knows? Yeah. Nick has popped in and says, "I missed the rant. Have you taken it down?" Yes, Nick, I've taken it down. It was bad, Nick. It was bad. It's shameful. We've had super sunny weather up here, says Haggis Lover. I know it will rain if any carpets do start. And Reselling Web says, yeah, I mean the GoPro footage, not haul videos. Yeah, I don't think the GoPro footage would, but I think we're at the stage now where people expect people to have cameras and things.
Yeah.
I don't think that would affect it. Even though we're under locked, you know, social distancing and stuff, I think if anything, more people are probably going to be recording this, you know. Just, some people, you got to remember, some people are going to be out there recording this for posterity's sake because, you know, this is historical, guys. Don't you think? It's quite historical. You know, I went to Sainsbury's the other day with a mask on my face. I never thought I'd be doing that. It's weird. But it was fine. Everyone else was fine with it because they were in masks and things
like that. A lot of
people,
you know, are wearing masks.
Yeah. And Zian Shane video coming soon. Very funny. Well, Welsh Wonder Nia says, I think some charity shops will have less stock on the shop floor because they'll need to keep the floor space open so people are exactly. That's what I was thinking, Nia. Yeah. That's exactly my point because I think it's really easy to get
you can
excited.
Go into some and there's a lot of stock everywhere, and it's it makes it impossible to kind of maneuver around when there's other people.
Yeah.
In
100%.
The shop also.
100%. So. I think that's because I think it's what I'm saying is if there's one thing this lockdown has taught is diversity and open-minded thinking as to how to source, because it's not necessarily it's really easy to just imagine you know streets full of gold and stuff, you know, paved with gold, streets paved with gold, isn't it? It's not necessarily going to be like that. Yes, they will have had record amounts of donations piled up, but there's no guarantee that those are going to make it through to us as end users, especially whilst they can only physically have half as much footfall during a working day because they're keeping it safe. You know, some charity shops, guys, if you think about it, are going to have limits of maybe 2 or 3 people and maybe queues going out the door. Possibly. I mean, I don't want to, you know, kind of like make up scare stories or anything, but it's a possibility if you look at the rules that we're currently under, right? God. In its flip, it says, Nick, it was epic in a scary way. I understood his frustration, but thought you might regret it. Yeah, hands up. Anyone that has only just popped in, because we've got over 130 people watching, which is insane. Thank you, everybody that has popped in and is watching. Just another recap. I put out a very ill thought out rant about ITzoo, about the customer service I'd had. I'd had bad customer service, but my reaction to it was even worse. My reaction was out of line, and I really regret it, if I'm honest, guys. So I took the video down. You know, it was just wrong of me. You know, and especially when the company has since, not since the video necessarily, but in general, or even if they did see the video, you could actually argue that's still good of them to then still be bothered to kind of, you know, to make things right, in terms of, you know, to help, you know, just to explain their point of view, etc. Because they could have easily seen that video and thought, I don't never want to speak to this person, but they still valued my custom enough, and I really respect that. So, you know, and they, you know, it's just good. So yeah. Okay, what else? if charity shops open next week, I don't see why I can't, says Kirsten. Very true, Kirsten. Well, I mean, didn't they say non-essential stuff is, when was it, end of June or 15th of June? 15th of June.
I think it's around then, isn't it?
So would you count, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, obviously, Kirsten, wouldn't you be classed as non-essential retail? So 15th of June, technically. But yeah, then why are they thinking of opening at the 6th? Because a car boot is an open market.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah,
it's
that's
different for the boot sales.
I don't think charity shops will.
Open markets, I think they. Yeah.
So charity shops will be on the 15th. Car boots, however, are thinking of opening the coming week. Right. Let's scroll down the chat. Dentistry open 8th of June. Zaheer, my fellow toothache buddy. Karen. Oh my God, Karen. I feel so terrible for you. Thankfully, my toothache has. Yeah, it's gone.
At the moment.
It's gone at the moment, yeah. But only after weeks of agony. So I completely sympathise, Karen. And yeah, I almost feel resentful to go to them though. You know, like after like they've not been willing to see anyone. And I know how dangerous it obviously is, but toothache is bad, isn't it? I mean, it can be terrible. Right. Oh, that's the working title of the upcoming Indiana Jones movies, says Michelle. Oh, okay, yeah, because of their ages and things. Got to go. Takeaway here. See you on AIDS at 8:30, says Georgina. My tooth is feeling a lot better at the moment, Lucy. RJ says few closed in Kent last year. Birchwood and Flamingo Park. Gutted, love them both. Swan. Oh, you're talking about car boots, maybe? Oh gosh, did I have that highlighted? Because then I can find it. Oh my God. There you go. Oh my God, it jumps a lot. Tracy says, I'm not sure why you question things. You have Andrew saving the country, I've heard. Job done. That's a good point, Tracy. I just question things. Here some stores make us line up at the door, says Pleasant Valley. Once you get in though, it can be chaos. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Every day I'm hustling, says sourcing and reselling will never be the same. We all must adapt and focus on our craft of our business. Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point by Every Day I'm Hustling. It's, we've focused a lot recently on our wholesale accounts. It's not nearly as profitable, but at least it's stock that we can safely get hold of, and it should be pretty quick moving. So that's something, but we still rely heavily on getting high margin used goods, secondhand goods, like 99% of us. So we still love that stuff because it's so profitable. It's something we can't really, we don't want to lose that, really, do we? As an income? No. Beck is pretty chilled, by the way, guys.
I'm ready for
She's
going to bed.
She's ready for bed already, bless.
I am.
Z is very subdued today. Survival strategy, not at all Pleasant Valley. I'm just calm. Will people not be scared to go to car boots because cash money supposedly transfers the virus? AJ, some people will be scared, but again, just like Every Day I'm Hustling says, we have to learn to adapt. And it wouldn't surprise me if more and more sellers start accepting. It may be difficult actually, but because I think a lot of sellers do want cash, but I think some sellers will start accepting cards. I do, especially the dealers. They may accept. However, it may be a really tough and slow transition because the issue with obviously paying via PayPal is you get that buyer protection, the 180 days worth, and I don't know how that works when you're buying in person. I'm not sure exactly how that works, so that would be something to look into. But yeah, I think it's just an adaptation. People are going to have to start accepting payments with card readers and things. But some people will be scared, definitely, and they'll not go. And then you have to decide whether the risk reward is there for you. I personally feel, like Beck said, if they put in the correct procedures and you take some precautions and you take a bit of self-preservation, you could still be okay. I mean, obviously if you're at a car boot and you're seeing an amazing item at a stall and you can see a couple of resellers are going there and it could be a close proximity situation, that's your call. Because obviously at that point no one's really going to say no, don't come and buy my item, two of you, you know. This is, there are times where social distancing is not going to be possible, right? And don't they say that's part of the official rules, isn't it? It's where at all possible, keep a distance of 2 meters, don't they? So you know, even the official rules say that.
Yeah.
So anyway, Chicago is mandatory for masks in all businesses, says Amy. Okay, I didn't know that. Anti-Curious says, I find that if you walk around the car boot in a dressing gown while eating a bowl of cereal, people give you a wide berth. Well, that could be something. Yeah, I mean that could work.
That might be one to try.
And just walk around. But the thing is, if you're doing that, you're going to struggle picking stuff up. You know, a bowl of cereal with milk and everything. Lucy says that. Oh gosh. Who knows about the relationships you built up pre the video? Very funny, Shelley. Very funny. AJ, World of Books is going to gobble up every decent book that goes to charity shop, I imagine. Well, that's the thing. There's companies which do every different niche. There's, you know, you've got like the book guys, you've got the media guys, you've got the clothes, you've got the electronics, and they're all going to be thinking. They're going to be thinking their businesses like we are, guys. And if the thought has occurred to us that hold on, you know, are we going to actually get our hands on this, or is someone that's got a contact going to go and try to make a deal? You better believe they're going to be trying to make a deal. They're going to, because they're hurt. You know, those guys are hurting as well. You know, they've not been getting their stock from the charity shop for the past however long. So, you know, as soon as the charity shops reopen, I'm going. It's no different than going to the supermarket, says Fred. That's very true. There's the logic is inarguable, Fred. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
My local car boots haven't even announced the return, says Peter Ray. That's a shame. Yeah.
Well, we only know about one.
Yeah, we only know Norcross, but it would be cool if it did open. It would just be nice to go, wouldn't it? And Nathan says, I like Tripes too. Hope they're Tripes Farm. We used to go to Hayes Farm. We used to go to Tripes Farm, and we used to go to Orpington. And then obviously we moved on to Pease Pottage, and then Sayers Common, and Rusper Village. That became the holy trinity for us down south. Pease Pottage, which I believe is now shut. Rusper and Sayers
used to go between two fields.
Yeah, Sayers was awesome. Right. Tripes is good. Nice trip to Chelsfield, lol. Okay. Not sure about ready for later, says Aid. Yes, guys, if you make sure you subscribe to Aid Waldron. He's doing a version of the popular franchise called Drinking with Andrew that other resellers have been taking the mantle on. So this week Aid is going to be giving up his liver for the cause. So thank you. So Aid Waldron in the chat, guys. To be honest, I find Facebook Marketplace better than charity shops and car boots, says Reseller Kid. Oh, I think Facebook Marketplace will improve, but I'm not sure. Do you think it's better? I don't think it is better than car boots and charity shops. Facebook Marketplace.
I don't know.
No.
I don't know. I think we've had a couple of experiences with Facebook. I mean, you had bought a couple of things within a group, hadn't you?
Yeah.
And I think we had a bad experience where they put the price up on the door.
Yeah, they put the price up on the doorstep. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, fair enough.
Things like that happen. Yeah. And also sometimes you obviously you make a deal and you never hear from the person again.
Yeah.
There's a lot of flakiness with Facebook,
so
I think.
I don't necessarily agree with the Facebook Marketplace, really.
Yeah. Jason says, Zaheer, Norcross are on about opening next weekend. That's exactly what we've been talking about, Jason. Yeah, I saw the message that they're thinking of opening 6th and 7th with measures in place, and we've just been discussing what we think possibly they could like implement to make it safe. You know, like really like it would be so difficult to just sit there and just.
I mean, I think we'll end up going.
Imagine being 2 meters behind someone and while they're picking up like an awesome item, and you're just meant to stand there with the 2 meters distance. You are, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'd be thinking,
put it down,
or like, I don't know.
Or what if people just say, don't touch anything?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. They wouldn't want the stall holders to touch. I mean, there was a lot of comments in the Facebook thread. Guys, if you haven't already, go and check out your Facebook pages for your local car boots. The most car boots have them. They're really interesting. The comments can get very heated quickly, so it's always nice to read.
Or not read. Oh dear.
Gamester says, hey guys, anyone know when car boots will open again? Some are opening the coming week. Gamester 28, 6th and 7th possibly. Pleasant Valley says adaptability is necessary. And the truth says free Bex from Z's rant. I wish I had bought more used puzzles, says Michelle Lathan. Oh, who could have guessed?
I know.
I mean, seriously, like, I got lucky that I hadn't listed a bunch of video games consoles. I had a bunch of Wii consoles. The reason why I hadn't listed them because I knew they didn't have a great deal of value and they were a lot of hassle to test just to sell for 25 odd pounds or whatever, and who knew that this would happen and the price would rocket up? No one knew, and you can't. Yeah, it's one of those things. It was just lucky, really, isn't it? If you did end up with a lot, then right. I go to local town once a week, says Karen, and how the retail part will cope when non-essential shops open will be interesting. Queues are already quite long going over closed shop boundaries. That's a good point, Karen. Yeah,
that is a bit of a concern, actually.
Yeah, because a lot of shops do limit how many people come in, so yeah. Jamie Kenley says, I read on BBC News that British Heart Foundation, Barnardo's and Cancer Research, the 3 biggest chains, are only planning to open around 70 shops to begin with, and they all have over 300 plus stores. Yeah, that is it's gonna be.
Yeah, I mean it's not gonna be like everywhere's gonna be open straight away.
No.
Is it?
No, exactly. I don't think that will happen.
No.
Oh gosh, have I found? I've lost the chat again. Not. God, where was that? Where was I? God, the chat. Why is it jumping by so much? I think that's really annoying.
There you go.
Oh yeah, there we go. There we go. Thank you. You're really good at spotting the chat. Like, just. At least you didn't pull your tooth out with pliers. Oh, who would do that, Andrea? You'd have to be really in a lot of pain. I think to go the pliers route. Who did that? That's crazy. And okay, just going through the chat, guys. Beck might have sunstroke. No, she doesn't have sunstroke.
No, it's just been a tiring week.
Yeah.
Believe me.
Yeah, it's just been a tough week at work, hasn't it? Yeah. I mean, are you
absolutely.
overall? Do you want to give them an update on how you're feeling about your full-time hours and stuff?
I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it. I'm just so chilled out with it.
She's so chilled out. She's barely.
I know.
Just
I'm barely awake.
But you're enjoying
I'm
it.
really relaxed about it. Do you know what? This is the happiest I've been in like so long. Yeah. I'm
happy that you're happy.
I'm feeling good about it.
I'm happy that you're happy as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's good. So yeah, for those of you who don't know, Beck went back full time just recently, and yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Yeah.
Well, as much as you can
enjoy
it.
Do you know what?
Least,
I'm one of those strange people. I'll be honest. Being at home right now, I would not have coped for like the 10 weeks like this. I just wouldn't have. And so I am really, really glad that I have had my job to go to. And it just so happens I increased to full-time while all of this was going on at the same time. So
what timing?
It works well for me, because even going in part-time, which initially for part of March I was still part-time, it was a struggle when I was home in the afternoons, and I wasn't coping, to be quite honest,
Yeah.
with like the whole lockdown thing. I was very, very emotional. I mean, I was emotional anyway because of my job and everything that was going on, but yeah, I wasn't coping part-time, and so it's working. It's working well.
Working for all of us.
Yeah.
Haggis Lover says charities will just have an entrance limitation. My local shop only lets 3 in at once. But can you imagine the grief that would cause? Imagine a bunch of resellers lining up, desperate to go in for stock, and then you just see like 3 come out, just bags full. Oh, that would be
like first one in.
Yeah, the first one. It would be like you'd feel like David Beckham closing down Harrods or something.
And you know, that's the other side of it. It's like, if that is the case, if they are going to, be doing those sort of measures, it's like, is the first person. I know people miss things, absolutely 100%.
But the first person's going to be just hoovering it.
Going to just be going, that's everything I want.
I enjoyed your rant, Z. Fair or not, it was real. I got to go. I need more gin. Have a great weekend. Have a great weekend, Kirsten. Thank you. Crap in the Attic says, question, do you think PayPal will continue with working capital when eBay take over payments? Yes, they will. That's got nothing to do with eBay. PayPal will continue with working capital. I've got no doubt. It's been really successful for them. And I wouldn't surprise me if the majority of their loans probably aren't going to people that are just selling on eBay. There's obviously lots and lots of businesses out there, online businesses and services and physical businesses, etc., that all also use PayPal as a payment method, and so they use working capital. I think what it will do, though, it will make it much more unlikely that we will be able to be approved for them, because I believe that approval isn't done on a credit check or anything. It's done on your sales activity. So if you switch over to eBay's managed payment and all your payments are going through there and your PayPal account isn't receiving any sales into it, that will mean that PayPal, when you apply for one, they will just look at that and be like, not taking enough money or whatever. No, you're not worth the risk, as it were, and then you won't be approved. So that's probably what's more likely to happen. I've got no doubt that they're going to continue with working capital. It seems like a massive success, but I think it will just affect us who take the majority of their payments via eBay sales. So but if you had, as well as an eBay business, imagine if you took your stock at the weekends to a fair. So for example, I don't know, like for example, if we take Nick's toy car parts, there's always car part fairs that happen every now and then. We see them, don't we, on a Sunday? Like they used to have it like they're called marts or something. I don't know what they're called. They do like specific.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
There's a local one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a local one that happens every week where people just turn to sell parts. So if for example, once we all move to managed payments, majority of the eBay sales for Nick and Andrea will go through on their eBay account, but they've got all these car parts that they might start taking to a weekly fair, for example, that just specializes in car parts, and there they could take payment via PayPal, and if that's happening, then they'd be more likely to be able to approve for a working capital, for example. So it's more about how you take payment. So that's what I think. Andrew says, I'll go to the boot sale with Nick, but feeling anxious about it. Yeah, I mean, you said you'd come, didn't you? And just to see.
Not that I'd do much. I'll just go there to eat a burger, really. If they're doing burgers. What if they don't do food?
What would you do?
They might not do food.
An early morning. Oh.
I have to make sure I take food with me.
Yeah, you have to.
Otherwise, I'm right grump.
Oh, man, you're the worst. You're the worst at car boots. Honestly, you're like so terrible.
You can tell if I haven't eaten.
Oh my goodness. Taking Beck to a car boot in the morning, and if she hasn't eaten, it's really not good. Reselling Polly, Sam says, I can't wait for the boot sales, but of course will keep myself and others safe. Yeah, I mean, exactly. I think even with this new track and trace thing, they've been so keen on pointing out how important or how responsible we all have to be. It's the same thing, isn't it? We have to be responsible. I think I'm gonna get a moped when I'm 16 so I can go to boot sales regularly, as at the moment I have to fit in with my family. Yeah, I mean, whatever it takes, I guess. Wear a mask, at least it's less likely to happen. Maybe you're definitely less likely to spread it to others, which is a responsible thing to do, Lucy. Definitely. Vinegar Jar Pete says, gotta go. Sausage bat waiting. Keep off the rants. Peace and love. Thank you, Pete. Not going to mind the first 2 times, since it will be all resellers and dealers getting rid. The general peeps. That's a very good point, Haggis. That's something you said earlier.
I did actually say that earlier when we were talking, like when I was out in the garden. I did say my concern would be like the first boot sale that you do go to would bring out the traders and obviously a lot of resellers because you know
how many normal people will actually feel
like our family's gonna be comfortable going.
Are they going to take the risk?
Are they going to do it? I'm not
sure.
Not sure.
Exactly. And I think that's a good point. I'm not sure that that will happen. Karen says yes. Carl not able to keep 2 meters distance at work.
Karen, I have to say it is
impossible.
So,
you don't
so
either,
difficult.
do you?
We work in such a. I mean, our surgery isn't particularly small, but the office space that we work in, our desks aren't 2 meters apart, and you know, it's just so difficult at work to kind of keep that 2 meters. You know, we all do try. You know, if we're walking around, we do. You know, we're not like all kind of walking down the same like, you know, corridor and you know we'll give each
you're
other
doing
space.
The obvious ones, but there are cases.
But when we're sitting down at a desk, we're not.
Even today, guys, like we live in a really quiet, like little town, and we don't see many people. But if we're walking along the canal and someone else is walking along the canal, we obviously move to the side. But there's no way we're anywhere near 2 meters apart. We're probably about a meter at most, aren't we? A meter and a bit at most. Yeah. So
but
even in
the path is quite narrow.
It's narrow,
so,
unless you want to go swimming. You know.
And we do try, you know, if there's because it widens at certain parts. So if we notice someone's walking towards us, we will hold off and.
But how far do you wait? Because you can see for you can see for hundreds of meters.
I know. So I mean, we only do like the obvious if they're like you know only a little way away, and we're just like, right, okay, we'll move over here, and then we walk.
Look at this. Again. Paradox Picker says, I actually know someone at my local car boot who purposely sprays himself with horrible smells so people don't crowd him. Man, that is some high level play.
Oh my goodness.
I'm sending loads to Ziff, it says Pete's Retro Collectibles, because I got books back from Amazon. They were rubbish in lockdown, so I've jumped ship. Fair enough. Hayes in Bromley, that's right. Okay. What other comments have we had come in? Ooh, Aid says cheers, no worries. Car boot is better for me as all in one place and sellers are not flaky, says Cola Flipper. Yeah, there's a lot of benefits to car boots. I think everyone has acknowledged for a long time that out of all the sourcing methods, car boots offer you the best return for your time, your time and money. They offer you the best returns. So yeah, Reseller Kid says it's £5 early bird at my car boot sales over 14, so I try and get away with it. Yeah, when you have to pay extra to get in, I honestly think in some cases, or in a lot of cases, it's worth it. So I would say, you know, it's always a touchy subject because some people are used to. Clitheroe, it was £5 to get in.
Yeah, that was the only.
That's the only one. All the others are only like £1 or something, or nothing. I think Norcross is nothing, but yeah. It was unacceptable. I thought it was great. Thanks, TKs. It was unacceptable. I buy a lot of my stock online and have about 8 weeks worth of other stock, so I don't need to go out sourcing for a while, which is good. Yeah,
that's good.
Definitely. That's the way to do it, Karen. You know, that's the ideal way, really. It will be mad with all the idiots diving in people's boots as soon as they pull up and start unloading. Like I said, I don't necessarily mind that. You know.
Yeah, I know, but with current
as a seller.
No, but with current circumstances.
Yeah, I would mind it currently. Yeah, I wouldn't want it. Yeah, I wouldn't do it. That's a good point. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't do it now. Tom the English Pickers popped in. Hi, Tom. We've got Pure Vintage saying cool cap. Yeah, this was from Ronnie Hart. I won it at the auction that 2 Aussie thrifters did. So yeah, I was really happy
You did.
for the bushfires, which now seems so far away, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Um,
We're really behind and
yeah.
we're already run over.
okay. Let's just quickly scroll down to the bottom. Oh gosh. Oh my god, happy Sabine. Oh my god, Z, you need to go on holiday. That's the problem with charity shops. No idea what stock people will get. Very true, Peter. If I'm the first person in Please Don't Panic, I go to all the unique houseware, says Karen. I'm renting a car next week and driving to Indiana to go for a haul, says Amy. Wow, that's cool. That's a big road trip. Over the years, Tim drove 4 hours for his recent haul, which was awesome. Hey, Night's Life, how are you? Mr. Sadie, how are you? We are actually about to be going off soon. Nick says, oh, speaking of car parts, almost listed the entire haul now. Took a while. Wow. Well, I mean, there's a lot of it, isn't there? So, yeah, that is awesome. That is awesome. Those sales are just going to keep coming in. Those random Hyundai parts and stuff. It's crazy. No, my secret stock chocolate stash has melted. Damn, this weather, I forgot. Lucky wasn't much left, says Lucy. Oh, no, Lucy. I feel for you. Right. What are you interested in? Oh, okay. Right, guys. One of the things Nick says, after massive hauls, car boots are the next best way for us to gather lots of stock in a short space of time. 100% what Nick says there, yeah. Massive hauls are the ideal, but they're not something that come around all the time, and you've got to be prepared for them as well, haven't you? You've got to have the space, you've got to have, the capital and all that. But yeah, the next best thing, because sometimes you can get hauls, even though they're not big massive hauls, you can sometimes still clear someone's stall. I mean, I remember that's when we got all that cricket cry-cut stuff that was all one stall, and we pretty much bought the whole stall, the cutting, and we did really well out of those, didn't we? So yeah, how's the pro streaming? That's still going fine, Lucy, thanks for asking. All right, guys, we are well over 8 o'clock. Just wanted to say a massive thank you to the over 130 people we still have in the chat. Really appreciate it. Thank you for your time. Thank you for watching. I love all the chat and the comments. Make sure at 8:30 you make your way over to Aid Waldron's. They'll be doing a live stream with guests, drinking with Aid or something similar it will be called. I'm not sure. But yes, or I think it's alcohol with Aid. I'm not sure.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But thank you for watching, guys. Really do appreciate it.
Yeah.
And we'll see you guys in the next one.